friends, thanks for being here. We're going to do a really lip-focused video today, and I'm talking about things that are really great for summer. And sometimes I feel like I've done seasonal lip videos, and it's been a lot about the colors. Like if I'm talking about summer, I'm going to be pulling in the corals and maybe some brighter colors or this or that. This video for me, as I look at what I've chosen, it's more about formulas, it's more about the feel, and maybe just an overall kind of carefree vibe for the lips. I know a lot of times I'll complete a look here and maybe I'll use a lip liner and a lipstick and a lip gloss. That's fun, and so often I'll start my day maybe with that kind of look. But if there's a touch-up, if there's anything I do later in the day, you know, it's usually a little more simple, a little more carefree. And I just thought I'd share some things in this video that were really just geared toward the summer vibe. I don't have anything but lip balm on my lips right now, but I've got my full face done, so I thought I would share what I'm wearing today. I've got on my e.l.f. Halo Glow Skin Tint. This is that SPF 50 product that they've put out. Mineral SPF, shade is 6, light cool, and honestly it's probably a little bit light for me right now, but I used a very minimal amount of that and I feel like I made it work. And then I used my Tarte Shape Tape Blur stick in the shade Light. Continue to adore this stick. I think it's great coverage, but it doesn't look like a lot on your skin. I set that today with something a little different. I used my Tower 28 powder. This is the Get Set powder in Palisades Pink. So very, very subtle pinky tone, but it does kind of have the same function as a loose powder. And then to give myself a little better staying power all over, I brought in my Maybelline Superstay Hybrid Powder Foundation, shade 128. That's just lightly all over. For bronzer, I use my Milani Cheek Kiss. This is in the shade Spicy Season. And for blush, it's the Laura Geller Baked Blush. This one's so pretty. Starfish Island. So nice. I swear it's got swirls of the baked French vanilla within, but you're seeing coral, mauve, maybe even some reddish tones in this blush. I think it's super pretty. I did my brows. I used a new palette from Sydney Grace. So Sydney Grace has an upcoming sale for the month, and they've got a couple of new palettes that are coming out within that sale. One of them is called Desert Bloom, and I think I'm going to do a whole video on this stuff, but look at that. It reminds me a lot of the palette Unbreakable Bond. It had neutrals and navies, but I've got some of those navies worked into the outside. Neutrals blended elsewhere. There's not a ton of shimmer in this palette, which I kind of like, but more to come soon about new Sydney Grace. And then my mascara today is the Essence Lash Princess on top and the e.l.f. Lash Extender on the lower lash line. And I also worked in, smudged on my upper and lower lash line, a little bit of this Laura Geller stick. It's her Kajal Longwear eyeliner, so it's basically, you know, a chubby stick. Ocean Blue Coal is the shade, so it's a really nice deep blue, pairs well with any kind of navy look that I want to do. So now to the lip stuff. So I mentioned this is kind of like functional, good for summer lip stuff. For example, after I've been swimming, this stuff feels so good to throw on. I know I've mentioned it one time before, but I've used it quite a bit. It's from bPure, so that's at Dollar Tree, $1.25 for this product. It's called Hydrating Night Lip Mask with hyaluronic acid. This stuff feels so good on your lips. It has kind of like a light pink appearance to the color, but ultimately colorless on your lips. There is quite a shine with it. It's kind of a Vaseline type shine, but then a thickness that really hangs on and makes you feel hydrated. Not sticky, just thick. It's rich. It's much richer than you would expect, but like I've said many times, the bPure brand from Dollar Tree tends to be very on point with their products. It even smells good, just has the softest little sweet scent, but it feels so just cushiony and good. And you know, if you're coming in from swimming, when I swim, just for reference, I am not swimming trying to look cute. I'm not trying to keep a partial face of makeup on. Like, I take everything off before I swim. I've slathered on usually the Aveeno Baby SPF on my face. I've got goggles, like I'm swimming, okay? When I come in, there's nothing to preserve. There's no amount of color I feel like I'm wanting to put on. Usually gearing into bedtime mode by that point. And this is just a perfect colorless balm to throw on. A lot of times in the morning, when I keep up here in the makeup room, sometimes I'll get up and I'll be like, oh, you know, I was in the pool a long time. Maybe my lips got a little unintended sun exposure, not thinking to put on an SPF lip balm. We'll get to that. But the Lano lips is a good thing to save them usually in the morning. Just having this on for a short time can soften them up so much, bring them back to their original hydrated state. This is the watermelon scent. It smells really good. It's thick. It's like an ointment though. For sure, it's even thicker than this stuff, but it has that kind of like yellowy ointment-ish look. Pup recommended this to me. Was it about a year ago? And she's like, if you got dry lips, this is the thing. And she is so right. So I continue to use that. They say you can use it on extremely dry lips, skin patches, cuticles, elbows, and more. So since I keep it up here amongst my upstairs lip balm stash, it's usually a morning thing for me. And by the way, I do have an SPF lip balm. It's this little Hawaiian Tropic SPF 30. Like I said, when I'm getting into the pool, I'm not making any kind of effort to have any makeup on at all, so a clear balm is fine that would contain some SPF. So I have owned this in the past, and I'm gonna really try to make sure I keep using it going forward because I think my lips dry out a ton when I swim, and the smell is very good. It's that Hawaiian tropical scent. Just a clear SPF 30 lip balm that would be easy to reapply while you're out. I know there are various tinted balms that contain SPF. Remember, I tried that one. I didn't love the color of it. The one that CoverGirl put out. It was a super light pink on me, but colored SPF balm, fine going day to day, but I don't need any kind of color when I'm swimming. So just a colorless SPF balm, good to have. A look I've really been loving lately is utilizing my stains. Like I've been loving these ones from e.l.f., but I've got Benetint ones too. Putting that stain all over, getting a really pretty base color on your lips that is literally weightless. You do not feel these at all. They just stain their water weight as you put them on, and then they dry down. You feel nothing. And if you want to stay in that place, you know, you've got something that's not going to be transferring off. It's very like carefree and easy summer vibes, but I do enjoy getting some use out of lip glosses or lip oils that might have been extremely sheer, but then you add it into that look on top of a stain, you've created a layered look and just given yourself a little shine on top, while these are doing the work for the color. So a couple of looks I've enjoyed. This is the one called Left on Red, so it's going to be your most similar to classic Benetint, and then using that red e.l.f. Glow Reviver lip oil. I think this one's called Red Delicious, and that's a really pretty look. I think I could do that. I'm trying to decide what's going to leave me the most stained and what I should show first. The other day I was using the Benetint in the raspberry shade. I feel like the equivalent to this in the e.l.f. line might be their plum color. I hope to try that soon and confirm, but yesterday I put on this all over and then layered on top of that my Glossier Espresso Balm.com. This is kind of brownish. It was such a pretty look, so I've got to show you that. Tough thing is just the fact that those looks are going to stain me a little bit, so I'll try on those layered looks at the end and just move on with some other picks. I guess the category of these would be comfy glosses and balms. Let's say I've done the full face, my lip has faded from the morning, I do have something to do besides swimming in the afternoon, I'm going out. If I just want to keep it easy, like this came straight from my purse, and this is the Revlon Super Lustrous Glimmer Lip Oil. This is the shade Plum Pop. This is also very similar to the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in Taffy. It has that kind of like transparent look to it. You know, you see the darkness here, but it's not going to show up that dark on your lips. I've used this a ton, but let me just throw this on and you'll see why. Like, this makes a great touch up. Something about having shine on your lips contributes to the completed look of things, don't you think? You look more finished when the lip is shiny, but that adds that little bit of color and it's so pretty. I love that. I love the feel. Really feels a lot like a lifter gloss too. Another gloss that is the same vibe is the lifter gloss in Sweetheart, I believe is the shade. Yes, this reddish one that they have from Maybelline. Kind of reddish orangey, looks really fresh on the lips, just bare lips. See that? What's not to like for summertime? I love that shade. It's so fresh, but it was one step. And I feel like now's the time for those kind of popsicle stained lips, but glossy. Some other ones that I love, I know I used this Tower 28 Blood Orange Vanilla in a recent video where I was just showing, you know, an ultimate quick makeup look for summer. And how your lips don't have to be nude. When you're finishing things off, clearly this was no effort to pop that on. I feel like Blood Orange Vanilla from Tower 28 is a little more intense, the more intense take on Sweetheart from the Lifter Gloss line, so just know that. But nourishing, softening. As I've said, the pool water dries things out, so you kind of want that nourishing, really comforting gloss on top. Another great shade of the Tower 28 is this Ube Vanilla. I've got some minis and I just love them. But look at how dark this appears. Brownish berry. Anyone? Anyone? Like, I love how that makes your look seem so completed and finished, and they feel amazing. You feel like you're really doing something for your lips. And some of y'all are probably like, okay, Em, that's fine, but I prefer something out of a stick, something that's even more manageable in the application. Well, I got a couple of those. This one came straight from my purse, so this is a very frequent use thing. It's from Buxom, and they've got these full-on like lip balms, and this is the one called Cinnamon Kiss. And you guys know how I like kind of a brownish, earthy thing. And that's what this is. It's a sheer kind of thin balm. Like, it feels thin as it goes across your lips, and then you press them together and you're like, okay, I've really got some moisture there. But these are nice, and I just love that shade. Like, can you see why I'd feel like I could throw that on with anything and it would look good? It's kind of like if I had on this full lip combo that I mentioned in my favorites, the LA Colors stuff, you know, the Melted Nude lipstick, the natural lip liner, the Heavenly lip gloss. But this is like the low-key take on the look that those three create. So if I'm just like already on the go, didn't pop anything on my lips, this might be a good thing to use. And you do get a subtle, like, cooling sensation the way Buxom glosses give you that. And I'm all for popping on a Buxom gloss too, but this is just very easy and it gives you that color. Another great like drugstore price range tinted balm range that feels like you're really doing something good for your lips is from Catrice. They're called Karen Colors Lip Balm. This is the shade called Bubbly Friday. Let me just throw this on. This is just like soft rosiness. Pinky, but not too pinky. Something I find interesting about these is they really feel balmy. They feel rich. They do not give off a lot of shine. So if you're not that big into shine and you more so just want soft color, these are super nice. And they feel just buttery going across your lips. Definitely a good thing to nourish dry lips. Now let's see if we can show you two of the layered up looks that I've been liking. So I might have to not leave them on my lips too long in the hopes that I can get them removed after. But this is the e.l.f. Left on Red, and it's your Benetint-like stain. Really pretty and effortless just on its own, but a lot of times this time of year, like I said, I'm needing a little more moisture on top. And then you can pair that with a gloss that just on its own maybe is not giving a lot of color, but suddenly you've given shine to the stain. And that's so pretty. Don't you love those two together? And think if you've got any clear glosses, different types of lip glosses on hand that maybe just as is don't knock your socks off, layer them up over your stains. Again, that's Red Delicious from e.l.f. So that's my red look, but take a look at this next one. Now see, I am indeed stained. Like, that's what that shade leaves behind. But we're taking the raspberry color from Benetint. Again, I believe from e.l.f. this would be the plum color. But this is a little richer, deep berry kinda, but sheer. I do like the way the Benetints smell. Rosy. See, that's really colorful on its own. I'm gonna let it dry down. And if you wanted more definition, you could totally pull in a lip liner and kind of neaten things up around the outside. Man, I needed more Vanicream up between my nose and my lips. I've got like a little dry flakiness wanting to happen there. But this was my lip yesterday as I was getting ready for church. This and then the brownish sheer lip balm. I love the smell of this espresso balm.com from Glossier. It's so good. Get a little bit of that. It's looking straight brown. And layer it on top of your berry colored stain. Not only do I get to enjoy the coffee scent, which I love a coffee scent and things, but how great do those look paired together? And you guys might be saying, Em, it's not fall yet. This was a summer lip video. I know, but I still like the brownish tones, okay? This balm on its own, I mean, I've talked about it before. Let me just show you a swatch of what it would look like as is. Totally fine as is. You know, it's gonna give you that brownish, neutrally tint to your lips. But I like the layering and I like the thought that, okay, as this wears away, I've still got something underneath. But for now, I can still enjoy the beautiful feel that that balm has. So that is my summer lip roundup, friends. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you maybe got some ideas for effortless looking lip colors, some ways to layer your products, or just some generally good products that you might like this time of year. Let me know your opinions in the comments if you've got any recommendations to share, and I will see you all again very soon. I love you. Bye.